Good morning, students. This is the continuation of Chapter 9, The Great Stone Face-1 by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So in the first video, we had seen the part 1, that is Mr. Catterfold appeared in that valley and the people, they accepted and they believed that Mr. Catterfold was the one who resembles the Great Stone Face. But Ernest didn't believe that. Ernest didn't accept, and so he turned away sadly from the wrinkled shrewdness of that unpleasant face. Now let us see the part 2. The years went on and Ernest grew to be a young man. He attracted little notice from the inhabitants of the valley. They saw nothing remarkable in his way of life except that when the labor of the day was over, he still loved to gaze upon the great stone of face. So after many years, the years went on and Ernest he grew to be a young man. And the inhabitants of the valley, inhabitants means people living in that valley, they had less attraction towards this Ernest because they saw nothing remarkable in his way of life. No remarkable thing was found. They did not find any interesting thing on this Ernest in his way of living. And except that when he had finished his work, when the day was over, labor of the day, that means when his work of the day was over, what he will do, he will sit and he will gaze upon the great stone face. That was what the people, they had seen something different. So from his very childhood till now being grown to a young man, he still sat at the door, sat at the door of his cottage, and he kept on watching the great stone face. Their idea was that this was a folly, but pardonable, because Ernest was industrious, kind, and neighborly. So their idea, whose idea? The people's idea. They thought that this Ernest, a young man, has gone crazy, has gone mad, because after his day work, he always, every day he sits there and he keeps on watching the great stone face. So they thought that this was folly. He has become mad. But they burdened him. Why? Because they found this Ernest very industrious. Industrious means hardworking. And they found him very kind and neighborly. A person worthy to be praised. A person who is very good towards his neighbors. So these are the qualities that the people, the inhabitants appreciate or liked in that Ernest's life. They did not know that the great stone face had become a teacher to him, and that the sentiment which was expressed in it would enlarge the young man's heart and fill it with deeper sympathies than other hearts. So the people, they didn't know that the great stone face had become the teacher of Ernest, because it was all because of this great stone face that this young man got lots of encouragement and kindness, and kindness in his heart. So the people, they didn't know that, but actually he was gaining lots of wisdom and knowledge, from the great stone face. They did not know that from this would come a better wisdom than could be learned from books. So the people, they also didn't know that from this, by watching the great stone face, he would gain a better wisdom than a person could learn from books. They never thought, or they didn't know, they didn't know that he will be able to learn such a better he will gain such a better wisdom from that great stone face. That means the wisdom that Ernest has was much more better than the wisdom that a person learns or gains from a book. Neither did Ernest know that the thoughts which came to him so naturally in the fields and at the fireside were of a higher dawn than those which all men shared with him. So not only the people, but even Ernest also. Ernest, he also never thought, okay, he also never thought that his wisdom, or he never think, or he never thought that this wisdom, the natural, okay, this wisdom had come naturally, okay, from that great stone face. Okay, so neither did Ernest know that the thoughts which came to him so naturally, okay, so the thoughts which were so natural, the wisdom that he had, okay, he never thought that those were given, or those were being received from the great stone face. Okay, a simple soul, simple as when his mother first told him the old story. He beheld the marvelous face looking down the valley and still wondered why its human likeness was so long in coming. So he was a man with a simple soul. Okay, simple soul means a very kind man. Okay, he was a very kind, very simple. Okay, as he was when his mother first told him the story. Okay, so till now he has become a young man, but he was same as before. Okay, so he beheld means he saw the marvelous face looking down the valley, that is the great stone face, and he still wonders. Okay, at the time of his childhood, okay, he wondered about that great stone face, and still he wondered, okay, why its human likeness was so long in coming. He couldn't wait. He really wanted to see that person who resembles the great stone face. So he kept on wondering why it is so late, why that person is coming, okay, why the person hasn't arrived or hasn't appeared in that valley. So he couldn't wait to see that a person who has a very kind smile, that is the great stone face. Okay, by this time, poor Mr. Catterfold was dead and buried. His wealth, which was the body and spirit of his existence, had disappeared before his death. Since the melting away of his gold, it had been generally agreed that there was no great likeness, after all, between the ruined merchant and the majestic face upon the mountain. So by this time, poor Mr. Catterfold, he was dead and he was buried. But here it says that we all know that Mr. Catterfold was a very, very rich man. Okay, but before he died, he lost all his richness and he became very poor. He struggled and he died. Okay, his wealth, which was the body and spirit of his existence, he was very well known by the people because of his wealth, because of his richness. Okay, but everything disappeared before his death. Okay, so by seeing this, the people, they 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 agreed to one another. They agreed that there was no great likeness, okay, which means this person, Mr. Catterfold, cannot be that person who resembles the great stone face. He cannot be compared, okay, with the majestic face, the ruined merchant, the destroyed, okay, the merchant who had been destroyed, the merchant who had lost all his property, all his richness before he died. He cannot be the person what the prophecy had prophesied. Okay, so they agreed that this cannot be the person. It so happened that another son of the valley had become a soldier many years before. After a great deal of hard fighting, he was now a famous commander. He was known on the battlefield by the name of Blood and Thunder. So it so happened that another son of the valley, which means a man from that valley, he had become a soldier many years before. And he had a great deal of hard fighting in the battlefield, and now he was now a famous commander. Okay, and in the battlefield he was known by the name Blood and Thunder. Okay, so old and tired now, he had lately expressed a desire to return to his native valley. So like Catterfold, he was also from that valley, but he also had gone away. He was a soldier, okay, and now he has become old. He was very brave. He was very courageous. He was a well-known person, okay. So he became old and he became so tired, okay, that he wanted to retire, okay. He had a desire to return back to his native valley. The inhabitants, his old neighbors and their grown-up children, prepared to welcome the renowned commander. It was being said that at last the likeness of the great stone face had actually appeared. Great, therefore, was the excitement throughout the valley, and many people who had never once thought of glancing at the great stone face now spent much time in gazing at it for the sake of knowing exactly how General Blood and Thunder looked. Okay, so the inhabitants, the people of that valley, and his old neighbors, whose neighbors, that is the soldier, okay, Blood and Thunder. So his neighbors, old neighbors, his grown-up children, they prepared, okay, to welcome the renowned commander, a well-known commander, because he was coming back. Okay, so the people, they started, okay, it was being said that at last, see, the people, they said that, okay, this person is the one, okay, who resembles the great stone face, and at last he had appeared in the valley. So they were so excited. Okay, so great, therefore, was the excitement throughout the valley. So the valley, okay, the inhabitants, everyone, they were so excited, and they warmly, okay, were waiting to welcome that soldier. And many people, those who had never once thought of glancing at the great stone face, they also started gazing at the great stone face. Okay, they wanted to see the face, and they wanted to know it, because this General Blood Thunder is coming back to the valley, and they wanted to see whether his face will resemble to the great stone face or not. And from there, they will come to know that whether that soldier is the man who had been, okay, which the prophecy had prophesied. Okay, so they wanted to know about that. So those people, those who had not even watched the great stone face, they also had started to gaze at it. On the day of the general's arrival, Ernest and all the other people of the valley left their work and proceeded to the spot where a great banquet had been prepared. So on the day of the general's arrival, the soldier, okay, Ernest and all the other people of the valley, they left their work and they went to the spot, the very place where they were awaiting for the general, okay, and there a great banquet had been prepared. Banquet means, okay, a great feast, okay, a great feast in order to welcome, okay. They were so happy to welcome that general. So Ernest also went along with the other people of that valley. Soldiers stood on guard, flags waved, and the crowd roared. So how he came, you can see in the picture there. Okay, so soldiers, they came, okay, they stood on guard. So he was brought with many soldiers and flags. They were waving the flags, and the crowd, they shouted, okay, for his return. They were so happy, okay, they welcomed him warmly. And Ernest was standing too far back to see Blood and Thunder's face. However, he could hear several voices. So Ernest was standing too far back, okay, to see his face, whether his face will resemble the great stone face or not. Because this Ernest had been watching the face from his childhood, okay, till his young age, okay, till he become a young man, okay. So he knows the face very well, and so he was trying to find out whether the general's face, Blood and Thunder's face, will resemble the great stone face or not. And he could also hear several voices. "It's the same face, exactly," cried one man, dancing for joy. So one man, all of a sudden, he cried out and he said, "It's the same face," and he started dancing for a joy. "Wonderfully like it, that's a fact," replied another. And another also agreed to him, and he said, "Yes, wonderfully, exactly. His face looks like that great stone face." "And why not?" cried a third. Then another third person also says, "He is the greatest man of this or any other age beyond a doubt." So there is no doubt. His face resembles to the a great stone face. So he is the greatest man of this age. Okay, so this is what the third person said. But now let's see whether Ernest will accept or not. Ernest at last could see the general's face, and in the same glance to the side, he could only see the great stone face. If there was such a likeness as the crowd proclaimed, Ernest could not recognize it. So Ernest at last, he could see the general's face, and what he found that his face does not or did not resemble to the great stone face. Okay, so it was like the during the first time, like when Mr. Catterfold came, right? So here the people, they started saying, okay, or they believe that the general has or his face resembles the great stone face, but Ernest could not recognize it. His face was quite different from the great stone face. Okay, "Fear not, Ernest," said his heart, as if the great stone face was whispering to him. "Fear not, Ernest, he will come." And so on that day also, he was not excited. Okay, he just left. And at that time, again, he watched or he looked fixedly at the great stone face, and he heard a whispering. Okay, he heard a whisper from his heart, a whisper as if the great man, a great stone face, was whispering to him, and that whisper was that telling him not to fear. "Fear not, Ernest," the great stone face. Okay, as if he feels that the great stone face was telling him not to be afraid because he will come one day. Okay, so this is what he felt. So everyone believed, everyone accepted that the general has the resembles his face resembles the great stone face. But according to Ernest, this time also, no, it proves out to be wrong. Okay, and he feels that he heard from his heart a whisper, okay, a whispering from the great stone face, telling him not to be afraid. He will come. So the person who resembles the great stone face will come one day. Okay, so this is the explanation of the part 2. And next we will also learn the next chapter, that is the continuation, chapter 10, the great stone face 2. Okay, so till then, thank you so much for watching this video.